So recently, two of my nieces came and spent a few nights at my house to spend some time with my daughter. They love each other so much. They also love music. So there was a lot of listening, a lot of singing, and some dancing as well. It was a joy to watch. But at a certain point, I noticed the power of my niece Callista's voice. I mean, I knew she could sing, but I didn't know that she could sing. So I said, "Hey, you've got quite a voice on you." And she smiled. I asked her if she had ever recorded anything or written anything, and she said no. So I said, "Come into my office. Let's start now. Let's get you recorded." So I just pulled out a basic guitar loop, added a bass and drum part to it, and sat her in front of the microphone and said, "Okay, sing." The music just seemed to go on and on and on, and you could see the wheels turning in her head, but nothing was coming out of her mouth. Finally, I stopped the music. And I said, "I think I know what your problem is. Your problem is that you're trying to write a good song. And because you're trying to write a good song, you're judging everything that comes to your mind." I said, "Let's just release you from that burden of needing to write a good song. Let's just write a crappy song together. Don't judge anything that comes to your mind. Whatever comes to you, just start." I turned the music on again, and sure enough, within a few moments, she started to sing. What word was that?
It said "and I."
Oh, good. That's a good start. And I like it. And the song actually turned out pretty nice. When you have a dream that feels out of reach, the first problem is often the inability to discern the proper way to start. How do you start writing a book, or a song, or a movie, or a poem? How do you start building a company or recording a podcast? How do you start? This dilemma is not exclusive to new endeavors, but recurs at every level of the development of a dream. Once you've written the song, how do you start recording it? Once you've created your business plan, how do you get your company to launch? Once you've launched the company, how do you scale it? Once you've written the book, how do you get it published? At every level, we face barriers that seem insurmountable, and we feel utterly incapable of overcoming these barriers and of fulfilling our dreams. And if you've got dreams on the inside of you, and I suspect that you do, you're probably struggling with the same question: how do I start? The answer to that question that we will provide in the first season of this podcast is simple: just start. Over the next 12 weeks, you're going to hear from individuals who chase their dreams.
Flirting with ideas is a way of getting like a preview of what your life could be.
They emailed me and said, "Hey, we've been following your story for the past year. Like, you're like one of our best success stories."
Endured their hardships.
I thought I had like a legitimate way to like make a future for myself, and then just one bad deal and just all down the drain.
And so you quit, right? And sold the business?
No, I didn't. I did not arrive at that conclusion.
Reached their mountaintops.
My name just got dropped out of nowhere.
Wow.
And it was taped for BET.
It's Halloween, but with black people.
And each and every one of them will tell you that they were able to accomplish what they accomplished, not because they're special or because they're great, but simply because they found the courage to take the first step.
And literally, he just said, just start.
Welcome to the About the Benjamin podcast. I'm your host, Benjamin Robinson. This podcast is devoted to the concepts of identity, creativity, destiny, and how to find yours. My goal is to provide you with a refreshing stream of inspiring content designed to activate you to pursue the fullness of your destiny in God. So let's go! All of the episodes in Season 1 of the About the Benjamin podcast have been written, recorded, edited, sound designed, produced, mixed, and mastered by me. For more resources, visit www.boutthebee.com. That's www.bouttheb.com. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you all here today. It is now time. It is now time that we went live. It's been a minute since I've gone live, and I am actually testing out my Elgato Stream Deck, which is enhancing my functionality, and I should be able to go live more often. We're going to be talking about XRP today. We've been waiting for nearly 2 years, and now the end is so close we can taste it. We have been waiting. We have been praying. We have longed for this moment. And now the moment is at hand. And this whole drama with XRP is getting ready to come to an end. So we're going to look at the charts and see what XRP is doing. We're going to start with the weekly chart. So let's see. Let's start with this weekly chart here and take a look at XRP and see what XRP is doing. The first thing that we can see is that from the bottom, and the bottom was March of 2020, we're already up 329.77% from the bottom. So everybody who was saying, you know, XRP is dead, it's over, not so much. We're up 329.77% from the bottom. And at the top of this move here, we were up 1,500% from the bottom. That's not bad, right? But if we take a look at this pattern, this is a symmetric triangle that we're in here. First of all, from this low to this low is a higher low. So the price made a higher low. But from the corresponding low in the RSI to the corresponding low in the RSI, we've got a lower low. What's that called? Anybody know what that's called? That, my friends, is called hidden bullish divergence. Hidden bullish divergence is a continuation pattern. So we've acknowledged that we're in a clear uptrend here on the macro, and we've got strong hidden bullish divergence on the macro, which indicates that the bullish trend on the macro is going to continue, right? So we can expect a continuation of this bullish trend on the macro because of the hidden bullish divergence. Second of all, we made a higher high. So we broke this high in the RSI that goes back to March of 2022. Breaking above this high means that now the RSI is in an uptrend, right? So we had lower highs, all these lower highs all the way down, lower highs and lower lows. And now we're making, we made higher lows, 2 higher lows, and now we've made 1, 2 higher highs. So that indicates that bullishness has entered into the XRP chart. So on the macro, the first start is to test the top of this line of resistance, which is right at about 170 to 190%. Okay, so that should take us up to about, just to test the top of that, should take us up to $1.46. Now, there's no guarantee that we break above it immediately. I mean, this symmetric wedge, we could stay in it for a while before finally breaking out. I do anticipate a bullish break. And if we were to get a bullish break, what would the price prediction be? Well, we could set a combination of price predictions using the candle pattern as one data point, but also using just basic lines of resistance and support to see if there's any confluence. This chart ain't right. Okay. Yes, it is. My bad. So first of all, there will be some clear resistance points that we're going to have to break above. And those two resistance points are basically the two highs. But on the macro, should we get above the $3 mark, the break above this macro triangle could take us up to $19. Now, would that take a few years? Probably. What's up, Glenn? Shrapnels. Good to see you guys. So, all of this is based on what we're seeing on the Bitcoin chart. There's these clear signs of recovery on the Bitcoin chart. I'm going to do a video about this later. It's interesting what's happening on the US dollar index. We had a lower low in the DJI. But look what's happening on the XRP chart here on the daily. So you remember what tends to happen is we trend and then we range, and the break of the range determines the next trend. So what we see here is we had this clear downtrend until we hit the bottom of it and we ranged. And now we've broken out of the downtrend and it looks as though we've established an uptrend. Right? So, Polywog, your question, what is the success rate of hidden bullish divergence? I think it's somewhere in the mid-60 percentile. So, of course, we all know that if Bitcoin gets rejected, if Bitcoin tanks, the whole crypto market is going to tank with it. But there's clear signs. I mean, for instance, so take a look at the RSI here. This is the macro. This is the weekly Bitcoin chart. Look how the RSI has broken above the trend. It's broken above the line of resistance. And we've made some clear higher lows in the RSI. And then secondly, Bitcoin is testing this line here to try to get back above. But if we look at the monthly chart, the Bitcoin monthly chart, what we see is we came right down to the line of support and we've held it. Right? So holding this line of support is huge. We've come down to this line of support multiple times. Now we are seeing diminishing returns on the Bitcoin chart. We had a 55,000% pump here from November 2011 to November 2013. So in a 2-year period, we made 55,000%, meaning you could have bought Bitcoin here for $2.16, and at the top of it here, it was $1,200 in 2 years. From $2 to $1,200 in 2 years. It's crazy, right? Well, then from the bottom here, $156 to the top here is $19,000. That's about 13,000%, so 12,945%. Then in this recent wave, starting from the bottom here in December of 2018 to the top here in May of 2021, we saw 2,000%. So do you see how we're getting diminishing returns? 55,000%, 13,000%, and then 2,000%. So this next wave up, I don't expect, it might do 300 to 500%. We're not going to get, 2,000%, or even, we probably won't even, we may not even get 1,000%. I mean, we might, but I'm not looking at a $1 million Bitcoin anytime soon, honestly. I just don't see it as a viable possibility. Now, if we hold this line and we pump again, the entire crypto market is going to pump. The stock market is going to pump. And I'm getting ready to do a video about the current economics, the recession, quantitative easing, the value of the US dollar, inflation. And I'm going to be talking about how all of this affects crypto. But the basic concept here is the handwriting is on the wall for the US dollar. That we're going to see a breakdown of the US dollar. The DXY is going to break down. I mean, it cannot continue to do this indefinitely. Look at this from the bottom here. Let's go here, 2000. No, from the bottom here, this is, okay, this isn't the chart I was looking at. Where's the chart I was looking at? I have to show you my other chart because I get into this in some detail, and I'm getting ready to make a good video about that. You don't want to miss it. But what I wanted to look at today is that we're looking at a clear uptrend for XRP. And it's like there's excitement that's building because of the promise of the SEC lawsuit coming to an end, Flare tokens finally being distributed. It's going to happen, folks. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So there's some clear lines of support, of resistance here that we're going to have to get above. But it's going to happen. Now, if we look at XRP against BTC on the daily chart, it's making a bull pennant. See how it's printing a bull pennant? So this is the pole, and this is the flag. So I'm expecting a breakout. The only problem is that making a higher high in the RSI is going to be tough here. So before we have a real breakout against, so this is XRP BTC. This is really the chart that I started my channel with. Look how from September 13th, what date was that? All the way up to about September 23rd, in 10 days, we outperformed Bitcoin by 83%. And at present, since September 13th, we're still up 58% above. We've outperformed Bitcoin by 58%. Let's see, do I have That's right, XRP to the moon. Aaron, that's right. So I've got this 64.8 cents as my next level here as well. But if we look on the weekly chart, there's actually plenty of room for upward momentum in the RSI. Plenty of room for Bitcoin to come test all the way up to about $1.45. So yes, we have to get through these levels before we get there. You know, there's a clear level here that we got to get through. There's a clear level here that we got to get through. But there's room in the RSI to make it. Thanks, Shrapnels. Appreciate that, folks. There's room in the RSI to make it. So, hey, folks, check out my new podcasts. You can check out my website at aboutthebenjamin.com or abouttheb.com, B-O-U-T. Here, I'll type it in for you. Check that out. You can listen to my new podcast on either Spotify or Apple Music. Spotify or Apple Podcasts, actually. So, yeah, I'd encourage you to give that a listen. This Talking to My Diary is more, it's less production. The production value is very low. I mean, it's just me talking to my diary. It's just very I'm just talking about what I'm struggling with at the moment. But About the Benjamin, there's high production value there. It's a great podcast. Appreciate that. All right. All right, yeah, so this XRP BTC chart. Okay, let me open up my weekly chart. XRP BTC weekly. There we go. Thank you, Shrapnels. All right, so what we see on the XRP BTC chart, the question is, how well are we going to perform against Bitcoin? So when I started my channel in January 2021, I started with this chart. And this was the fundamental conviction with which I started my channel. You can go all the way back to January 2021 when I started this channel. And you can see this chart was my thumbnail. I didn't know anything about a YouTube channel, a thumbnail, or anything. And this is all I saw. That in that move, we outperformed Bitcoin by 5,700%. And then there was a second one here. And in this move, we outperformed Bitcoin by 1,848%. So my fundamental conviction was, when I made this channel over here, that we were back at this level. And the last time we were at this level, boom, we exploded against Bitcoin. Now, of course, we were living in a day and age in which I was expecting the SEC lawsuit to be closed in about 45 minutes. It's taken a lot longer. But my thesis remains that I think when the SEC lawsuit comes to a close, we're going to see XRP do another one of these. Now, you got to understand, this season where XRP outperformed Bitcoin by 5,000%. So let's look at this carefully so we understand precisely what happened here. The start of this is February 20th, 2017. The end of this is May 15th, 2017. So from February 20th to May 15th, 2017. Now let's look at the Bitcoin price chart to see what was going on. Actually, let's look at the monthly to make it a bit easier. Where's 2017? From February, let's get rid of this. February, here it is. Okay. Let's zoom in here a bit. So from February to May. So during a time period in which Bitcoin outperformed the US dollar by 142%, same time period, Bitcoin is outperforming the dollar by 142%, while simultaneously, where's my chart? What happened to my chart? There it is. Simultaneously, XRP is outperforming Bitcoin by 57%. Do you get that? Bitcoin is outperforming the US dollar by 142%, while simultaneously XRP is outperforming Bitcoin by 5,700%. Which means that Bitcoin is outperforming the US dollar. I don't even know how to do the math on that, except to look at the XRP USD chart from February 20th to May 15th of 2017. And let's do the math on that, shall we? All right. So this is February 20th. Okay. There it is. So in that time period, XRP is outperforming the US dollar. I didn't get to the top there. By 7,274%. So the question is when? When are we going to see this? We're going to see a moonshot. I mean, okay, look at this. If you add the total move together, XRP did 61,833%. $61,833% from February 20th to January 1st. Little less than a year, XRP did 61,000%, 62,000%, just about. Just let that sink in for a second. Now, number one, to think that if you went back to 2017, you could buy XRP for half a cent. But then to see that 315 days later, you could have sold it for $3.30. That's pretty dope. So, here's the key. The answer to the question, when is this going to happen? This is going to happen when the US dollar finally corrects. Let me see if I can find my better US dollar chart. Is this it? Yep. Look what's happening with the US dollar. There's this inverse correlation between the crypto market and the US dollar. So whenever the US dollar explodes, crypto implodes. And it just makes sense because you've got two different forms of economic value, right? The first is cash and the second is assets. So what happens is when cash is at the bottom, people sell their assets, and then cash rises. The value of cash rises, and the value of assets decline. I mean, we can demonstrate this, right? This inverse correlation. So from May 24th, 2021 until today. Now let's look at Bitcoin. From May 24th So Bitcoin already started declining. But overall, Bitcoin dropped about 74% in the same time period when the US dollar pumped 30%. So when the US dollar goes up, Bitcoin goes down. And not just Bitcoin, but when cash goes up, assets go down. I mean, it's just this very basic inverse correlation. When cash goes up, assets go down. When assets go up, cash comes down. It's just kind of the normal thing. It just happens, right? That's just the normal economic outlook of how things work. Now, if we look at this trend line that the US dollar is in right now, this trend line that really goes all the way back to 2009, we've bottomed, topped, bottomed, topped. The odds of us breaking above this trend line are slim. The dollar is going to have to correct. What I anticipate is it'll probably pull back a little bit for a couple months, pump up towards the top of this trend line again once the Fed raises interest rates again in November. But you cannot have an infinite progression of green candles on any chart. Right? What I see is the dollar is going to have to correct probably until about 2025, like early to mid 2025. We're going to see the dollar correct. And that is going to cause assets, and specifically crypto assets, to explode. And when will that start? My thought is that it will start by the end of this year. My thought is that it will start by the end of this year. I could be wrong. I mean, we could have another one of these here. You know, the dollar could do this again, where it just kind of hugs the top of this line here before coming back down. And if it did something like that, we wouldn't see the breakdown till 2028. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Here's why. I think all of the quantitative easing, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this. I'm getting ready to make an in-depth video on the subject. I actually have an economist that I'm going to be interviewing as well. But the concept is the dollar is going to have to correct all of the quantitative easing, because here's the crazy thing, guys. And when you think about this, just think about this. Just put this on for size for a second. This is March 2008. You all know what was happening in March 2008, right? We've seen the dollar increase in value by 62% since March of 2008. It's 15 years, basically. Just about 15 years. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Randall? So the dollar has increased in value by 62% during a time period in which the Fed has printed more than 8 trillion US dollars in that same time period. So when you print more money, it devalues the currency in the system. So if it devalues the currency in the system, then how are we seeing the currency increasing in value all this time? Right? Well, it's because the Fed not only prints money, but manipulates interest rates to boost the value of the dollar. So it prints money to tank the value of the dollar, then it raises interest rates to boost the value of the dollar. All of that junk's going to catch up with us. And if we break down beneath this, if the dollar finds support here, all right. But if the dollar breaks down beneath this trend, this could get real ugly real fast. I mean, what if the dollar comes all the way back down to test its low from 2008? It could get real ugly. The whole economy would just look really nasty. However, the crypto market, the asset market, and this is the beginning, this is really the point that I'm going to make in my next video, is that in 2008, when there was a whole financial crisis, banks and all of that stuff, and the housing market went crazy, the primary assets, see, the rich got richer off of that whole debacle because property values dropped like 60+%, 70%. I was looking at the real estate index, and it was like it was a black swan event for the housing market. The problem was only the rich could afford to take advantage of that. Hey, thanks, JL. Only the rich could afford to take advantage of that. I lost my house in 2011. Hey, I appreciate that, JL. You're the man. But crypto did not exist in 2008. Bitcoin was invented in 2009. Which means that in that... Oh, great. I got some people I need to delete here. Sorry, guys. I need a moderator. This drives me crazy. And they know they're going to get removed from the channel, so they drop like 20 of them at the same time. Look at that. He dropped like 30 of those junks. All right. Yeah, so the point I'm making is the difference between now and 2008 is that crypto exists. Exactly, JL. Fractionalized ownership. So you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy $5 of Bitcoin, which means that even if we have an economic downturn that is worse than what we had in the financial crisis of 2008, we have an opportunity here in the crypto market that we did not have to capitalize on that. I mean, imagine if you could afford to buy real estate in 2009, 2010, 2011. Imagine if you were able to have afforded to buy real estate. Well, people will look back and say, wow, I wish I lived in 2022 because I could have afforded to buy some cryptocurrency. I could have afforded to buy some XRP. But people will look back in years to come and say, you can't afford to buy it now. And so this is the key. This is the key. Like, what crypto does is it democratizes the accoutrements of wealth generation. It democratizes it so that no matter who you are, I mean, I don't care how economically strapped you are, you can build wealth. You can build wealth. You can build wealth. How? Accumulate crypto. Accumulate crypto. Accumulate it now while you can. And the big problem is that, here's the big problem. The big problem is that the media doesn't tell you to buy it until it breaks out and makes 300 to 500%. This is where the media is always wrong. The media is always wrong because the media is always late. The media is going to wait until the dollar drops 30, 40, 20, 30% before the media calls it and says, you know what, it's a good time to start buying assets. I mean, watch what happens, because right now, nobody in the media is saying Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency is a good buy. Nobody is. But let the dollar pull back 15 to 30% and let the crypto market expand 300 to 500%, then they'll start saying, yes, everybody needs some Bitcoin in their portfolio. Hedge funds are going to start adding it. And it's too late. And the key, really the strategy, is to learn how to identify the top. Because if you can identify tops, like just looking at this trend here that goes all the way back to 2009, we can say there's a clear top here. We're coming to the top. The US dollar, it just can't go much higher. Not to mention the clear bearish divergence in the RSI. Right? Clear, strong bearish divergence in the RSI. Right? Highs are going up, highs are going down. Classic bearish divergence. Yes, JL, I completely agree with you. And this was the problem, and I got caught up in this. So first of all, I called this top here at 64,000. Why? Because the bearish divergence in the RSI was just out of control strong. There was just no way. I did not call this top. When we got here, I thought we were breaking above this and going up to 100,000 and beyond. So I did not take profits. And when this just tanked, looking back, it was still clear. I mean, the bearish divergence in the RSI was even stronger. Look, from here to here, and then from here to here, it's an extremely lower low and slightly higher high. There was no RSI. There was no momentum behind this move up. And hindsight, of course, hindsight is 20/20. But taking profits on the way up, and this is one of the things I do for my Patreon group, is set profit take levels. Say, all right, here's our. I don't have any chart up right now in which I do profit take levels, but basically for our portfolio, I set profit take levels so that on the way up, and this was the thing, like I said, we got these diminishing returns. You know, you get a 55,000% return on the first wave. You're not expecting the second wave to stop at 12,000%. And you get a 12,000% return on the second wave. You're not expecting the third wave to stop at 2,000%. So we weren't prepared for these diminishing returns. And because we weren't prepared for these diminishing returns, we weren't ready. We weren't ready for the market to pull back. We needed it to go on up and, you know, touch 130,000 or something. I was expecting a touch at the top of this trend line here, actually, in this wave. But I mean, if you look at this chart, this is a monthly chart. You've got bearish divergence on the monthly chart that goes all the way back to November of 2013. Meaning on the monthly, Bitcoin has been losing steam since its first top in April of 2013. And what I mean by losing steam is simply you're seeing diminishing returns. That's all. However, there is encouragement in this chart because there's clear hidden bullish divergence. From this low to this low is clearly a higher low, but from the corresponding low to the corresponding low is a lower low. That is hidden bullish divergence, which means the uptrend will continue. It's a continuation pattern. So this chart is telling me that the uptrend will continue, that this bull run is not over. And I've been saying, like, if we break beneath this line, it's the end of a 10-year bull run. If we break beneath this line and it becomes resistance, it could get real bad for a long time. And for a long time, I thought that that's probably what was getting ready to happen. But the more I look at this chart and the more I see the signs, the more I'm beginning to see convincing evidence that the recovery is in play. All right, folks. That's all I got for you today. What do you think? What do you think? How you doing? How you feeling? You still with me? Still with me? Using my Elgato stream deck that my friend Crypto John got me. So I'm definitely having fun with this thing. It's going to take a little bit of dialing in, but it definitely has increased my capacity. It's increased my capabilities in terms of live streaming. So I should be able to live stream a lot more frequently now. So thank my friend Crypto John for that. Definitely a blessing. He's the guy who got me into crypto in the first place. Yeah, he is an amazing friend, JL. You know, he gets on your nerves too, but that's par for the course. Uh-oh. Hold on one second, guys. Yeah, so Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Simply giving you my perspective of what I see in the charts. But above everything, make it your aim to sleep in peace every night, to wake in joy every morning, walk in love every day. Do me a favor and hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you like this content, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. And be looking out for more of my videos, because I got a lot more to say and a lot more to bring to the table here. Yeah. This is Cryptogenic, signing out. Have a great day.